Come afternoon, everybody. I'm just keeping it raw and unedited, but I wanted to share a little bit about my testimony. About 5 years ago, it'll be 5 years ago in May, I woke up to a knock on the door, and it woke me up out of a sound sleep. I'll be honest, I was a little aggravated. I thought it was my husband. When I reached for my phone and tried to call him, he didn't answer. And I almost went back to sleep. And we, about eight years ago, we downsized and moved into a fifth wheel. Actually, it was a bumper pool at the time, and then we upgraded to a fifth wheel. So we were doing the RV tiny living thing. We had just built a deck, got an RV cover, was improving our little homestead place, and just simplifying our life and just asking the Lord to guide our footsteps. Well, anyways, that morning I woke up to a beat on the door, and it was 5 o'clock in the morning, and it's dark outside, so I don't know who's beating at the door. I thought maybe it was Galen trying to get in, maybe lost his keys or something. And to my great surprise, when I finally got up and I was calm, I wasn't disturbed by no means, but I knew I needed to get up, so I got up. I went to the door to check, trying to be discreet, couldn't see anything. When I opened the door, there was nothing there. There was no one there, and I thought to myself, I'm sure somebody knocked on this door. And when the door flung open, I could see my little craft shed was all engulfed in flames and had been on flames for quite some time. And the neighbor was in the street yelling, "Get out of there." So I went back inside to grab my little dog. I didn't think about nothing else or anything, anything of importance, just me, myself, and my little dog. And at the time, I was not the lightest feather that you could imagine. So the deck was completed on the front side, but we still needed to put the steps and stuff on the back side. And so the front exit where the driveway and the shed was, I couldn't get out. So I asked for them to come into the park of where we live and help me off the deck. And it was as if he picked me up and I floated literally just and set me down with no effort at all. And of course, in the natural, I scream, I'm in panic, I'm in shock at that point, can't believe what's taking place. It just totally wasn't something we were expecting to happen. What happened was the night before, we had gotten a forecast that there was a storm coming, 70, 80-mile-an-hour winds. So we were preparing for a different type of storm and doing our due diligence to make sure everything was taken care of. And little did we know that we would, our little place would go up in flames. And within 8 minutes of getting out of there, everything on the property was engulfed in flames. And maybe one of these days I'll share a little clip of that moment. I do have a video of what that looks like once I had been gotten out of the way. And so I remember that morning, it was early, and at the time, the only thing the Holy Spirit told me to do was to call my pastor's wife. So at the time, I did. And I just asked for them to pray for Galen and I that everything was up in flames and my life was spared. I didn't know why and what was going on or whatever, but during the course of that event of things transpiring in the early mornings of that, I remember standing in the park and just saying, "Lord, what do you want me to learn from this? I'm gonna worship you and praise you no matter what I face. You're still the Lord of my life, and I love you. And all I know is that you spared my life." And so to encounter in the physical true fire and the heat that it actually puts off, and being standing there for several hours. I will say this, it happened 5 o'clock that morning. I didn't go to bed till almost like 1 the next morning. My body literally trembled in pain, hurt physically. I didn't realize I was in shock as much as I was in shock and dehydrated. And of course, all those things, you know, you learn as the course of events take place. But I wanted to let you know that the testimony is everything can go and and leave, you know, all of it withers away. But the one thing that they can't take from you and I is Jesus. They can't take away Jesus. And so I know that he spared my life. There's obviously something more than what I have gotten to do so far. And I've gotten to do some amazing things. I'm looking forward to the next and what God has for me. And that is so exciting to me. I am thrilled to be able to be alive, doing what he's called me to do. He's preserved me for such a time as this. And I just trust that this testimony of living through the fire, going through the fire, walking it out is evident that I'm not just talking about just kicks and giggles or a hype of being on fire for God. No, 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 no. That is a personal, deep relationship that only comes when you truly are on fire for him. And that moment was really a defining moment for me. Even though in the physical I encountered and some things happened that day, and moving forward, it's nearly 5 years later, and the transformation, we lost everything. I literally just had on just like a house dress, and I was barefoot. I didn't have nothing else on me. I didn't have but me and my little doggy. At the time, my husband was at work. My mom, thankfully, was living nearby at the time. She ran right on over and to be with me, and we stood and watched everything go up. And to know that the enemy could come in and try to take everything away from you, but the one thing he cannot has come across the bloodline. He can threaten you, he can bark, he can yap, he could do all the things that he tries to think that he has the capabilities of doing, but Jesus has the final say. And I will have to say, I'm standing here today because he still has something for me to do in the earth, and I will fulfill that assignment, and I will do that which he's called me to. And I'm so excited to be here still with you, serving and living for the Lord. And I look forward to so much more greater things that he has for all of us. And I know today was just kind of an uncuff, but this is me. I am the real deal. I am not about all the other things that sometimes that we can go through. But I just wanted to say I love you guys. I appreciate you. And I look forward to seeing you guys soon. I hope this blesses you. Share with us what your testimonies are. We want to hear from you. Bye.